Let's call the meeting to order. Everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
First order of business is review and approval of the prior minutes. Do I have any comments or changes relative to the previous minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Shelley moves. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Dick seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. Next. Audience participation. Do we have anyone out there, Bill?
Sure. So if there are residents who would like to speak, you can press the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen, and we'll allow you to
Are there
speak.
any residents out there that want to speak? No?
It's like we have 3 attendees and no one's raised their hand.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Director Golf Course Properties, Doug Snyder, Paul. All right, Paul, Doug,
How's it going, guys? Well, for as far as mowing goes out there, we're pretty much all wrapped up. Most of the grass growth has been shut down for the season. If you see us out there with mowers, we're just kind of cleaning things up for the season. Plant protectants will be applied in the next coming days to help us protect ourselves from any winter diseases out there. And we will be periodically top dressing the greens throughout the winter. The one thing I will say is if you're out there playing on tees and fairways, please replace your divots. The divot seed mixture will not grow any grass through the winter. Paul has been adding sand to our bunkers, so if he wants to chime in right now and talk about the process, I welcome him to do that.
Sure. It's a pretty basic process. We start by edging out the bunkers and removing the grass that is gradually creeped in and the sand that has been creeped out from people hitting and from our machines pulling the sand out when they rake them. Just giving it a clean edge. You might have seen it on 18. I did 17 today. It's basically just manual labor, just removing the sod and getting it prepped up and grading down the sand, and just adding sand, smoothing it out, and then you have a nicely cut bunker.
Yeah, pretty much straightforward. We have a couple more bunkers we're going to get through before the springtime. It's a good time to do it now because all the winter rains and snow will help settle and compact the sand before we open for play in the spring. So a few of those bunkers that we're doing to may be a little soft, just for you guys to know. The 3 pond aerators have been pulled in for the winter. They're all in great shape. They've been cleaned up and they've been stored in our shop for the winter. The projects that we've been doing the last couple months is the restoration projects. Mainly, again, Paul has been going out and doing all the mowing. We were able to get it down to our desired height of cut, which is about a 1/2 inch before the grass stops, growing. In the spring, we will go out and seed those areas heavily with some creeping bent grass and fill in any of the voids, because we did have the unwanted grasses die. That was the plan. So we'll, again, seed those and get those ready for spring play. The Senior Men's Club, their flagpole was put in about 2 weeks ago. It's great. So we definitely want to thank them for that. And I want to go back and thank Shelley for letting us borrow her kayak to help us with the pond aerators. One of them was all tangled and cut, and she offered to loan us a kayak, and we went out there and got it fixed, and it was a great as far as our Audubon work goes, the Aspetuck Land Trust plantings are in. We put them in. They get in front of the clubhouse, and they're along the Nicholas Center on the side facing the putting green and chipping green. They don't look like too much now, but in the spring they will come back and be strong, and they'll be flowering throughout the whole summer. The irrigation system has been winterized. The last Thursday, Friday, we blew it all out. Real happy with the process. I think we'll have it going to spring with no issues also. Again, the Tashua Glen course is doing about the same as the Knolls. It stopped growing about a half a month ago. It stops growing a little sooner than the Knolls course because it has more creeping bent grass than the Knolls course, which is primarily annual bluegrass, which is more of a winter annual and grows better in the winter. So, but everything is going into winter really healthy. I'm happy with all the conditions that we do have out there. Again, if you're out playing, please replace your divots. The seed mixture will not do much for any of us. One other thing I'd like to bring up, a couple of the commissioners already know, we did have a positive COVID test on our crew. We found out Tuesday, one of our employees contracted the virus. Because of our work protocols, worked with Town Hall, DPW, Megan, George, and Tom, all from Town Hall. We did our contract tracing, everything was in place, and to date, no other employee has contracted the virus, so we're still doing good, and hopefully we're going to be able to continue on the way we're going. And basically for the next month, we look at just wrapping up the course, putting it to bed for the winter, and hopefully get started on our 13th tee project. So with that, I'll open up to any questions and go from there.
Any questions for Doug? Everybody's on mute, so the
I just to say, Doug did reach out to me and he explained what was going on. And
Right.
actually, he handled it so beautifully. I didn't have
Is
he did a
that
great job the way he handled it. So,
Bill? Who was that? Diane again?
yeah.
Yeah,
Diane, you have the same problem you had last time.
So Diane has a low Wi-Fi connection error. So that's
Did you hear me?
No, you're making
No.
this echoey.
Yes, it was me, Don. Yes, it was.
oh God.
Okay, do we want to move on?
Yeah, I just want to,
Okay.
Bill, can she go on her phone and use cellular data instead?
So Diane can call in. There are instructions.
what's the background? Diane, you probably need to get on your phone.
know what? I'm gonna sign out. If you can hear me, I'm gonna sign out and
Bill,
sign
can you
with
mute
my
her?
phone. Okay.
Yeah, we are muting her. It's just
Let me text her.
Yeah.
See if I can.
I guess while he's texting, does
Or
anybody else
having
have any
the
questions?
No, I think from everything you were saying, but I'll echo it. Just good job with the contract tracing and
Can't hear
following
you.
those procedures.
Yeah, I'd say we do a very effective job with our sanitizing at the shop. We over
Okay.
sanitize basically, so I was confident that it's not.
Good news.
I'm on my phone now. Is it any better?
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
much better.
yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
All righty.
Okay. And, okay, what we got by questions for Doug? Okay. Frank,
I'm gonna just put my report into my Green Committee minutes, hopefully to be added to our monthly minutes to save some time, but there are a couple points of emphasis I want to get out there. As
Okay.
Doug says, we did winterize the irrigation system. One important item is the pump house was winterized and the water meter was removed, as well as other components that in past years, more than once have been stolen from the pump house. So if you're listening, it's not there this year because we took them back in. Also, we are purchasing new, nicer, no trespassing, keep off the golf course signs. I know we have a bunch of new residents in town that don't realize that it's not a walking trail, especially when there are golfers out there and balls flying. And even in the off season, when the course is closed, there are people maintaining and doing work, and we want to keep them out of harm's way. So there is no trespassing on the golf course at any time for the public safety. We're purchasing additional signage, and the staff has always been informed to call the authorities to deal with that situation for the public safety as well as the golf course's liability safety. And any questions on my report minutes from my meeting?
Okay, hearing none, let's, thank you, Frank. Let's move on. Bobby?
Good evening. I'm going to also have my report stand as written. I have 3 new updates since I mailed the report in. One, the Senior Men's Club have submitted their request for 2021 as well as the 9 and 18 holes, and everything remains the same with their schedule. 2, our Thanksgiving Day shotgun that was planned for this Thursday is no longer a shotgun. I received word from Doug that the town informed him that Governor Lamont, with the new COVID rules, we cannot no longer do any shotguns and no groups of more than 4 people in a group. So I quickly changed it to tee time. So tee times will be from 8 to 9:20 on Thursday morning. It's already sold out. And the Glen will be from 8 to 11, and we'll close the course around 1:30, 2 o'clock for the day. And then one last thing, I think maybe Doug forgot to mention, the starter ranger position for next year that has been posted on the Town of Trumbull website, and there's applicants, people that are expressing interest in joining the starter ranger staff for 2021. So they're gathering those information right now, as well as maintenance and mechanics, which I think have been filled. And that's all I have. Any questions? Thanks.
Okay. Angelo?
Same as the others, just have my report as written. The only thing I have to add is I'm in the process of touching base with Mondo Septic, waiting to hear back from them to see if any pumping has actually been done to date. The last time I spoke to them, they said he was being put on the schedule, but we don't have confirmation yet that it's actually been done.
Okay, all right. I will add that I believe the roof is still leaking. And the town attorney asked us to have an assessment performed of the causes or the cause of the roof leaks. And we contacted George Estrada, and he was going to send a roofer over to take a look at it. But I don't believe that has happened yet. I touched base with him today, and he hadn't gotten back to me yet, but I don't believe it's happened. But we will get an assessment of that to figure out who is going to have the responsibility to fix it. Any questions for Angelo or me on that item? Fine. I don't suppose Dominic's here. With that, Joe.
Yep. Good evening, everyone. I trust you guys got my report. I'll try and keep it brief, but I expect to have a few conversations along the way. October, we had a very good month. We finished at $216,000 for the year. That's about $50,000 over our 5-year average. That being said, we're not out of the woods because of the 50 days that we were locked down in the beginning of the season. However, we did surpass our 2020 numbers as of November 15th. So we made $2,061,659. And most of that was because the Glen has seen a 50% increase in play. Next slide is just our expenses. A few things to highlight here. Salary overtime. This is 75% used, so we only have $1,900 remaining. So we just have to be cautious with this going forward because obviously we're going into the winter, but come March, we'll be right back up to overtime and needs there. Professional services, only half has been encumbered at this point because the ATK contract is set to expire on 12/15. Capital expenses is zero. This is because the Board of Finance has approved these funds transfers for the aerator and the mower. However, we haven't seen the funds show up, nor have we purchased those items yet. We've seen a $2,108 increase in maintenance services. This is for the fire extinguishers inside the house. And there's an electrical repair invoice of $2,734 that hasn't been processed yet. Any questions with expenses? All right. Moving on, just to keep you guys advised, Board of Finance approved 7-0 transfer of $32,500 from our retained earnings to capital outlay. First Selectman Tesoro has approved that as well. It'll go before the Town Council on December 7th. I expect it to fly through that. There was a question of the Board of Finance about our retained earnings. I actually wrongly stated that we had $1,048,000. The correct number as of December 2019 is $1,077,000. However, there was a highlight that we have a goal to maintain a $1 million retained earnings in that account from the Board of Finance. Next slide is the golf cart bid. So we received this. Don, if you're okay with it, I'll cover this now and then we can.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay.
Do it.
So we received 3 bids for the golf cart bid. We received E-Z-GO, Club Car, and Yamaha. Yamaha did not offer lithium batteries. Club Car and E-Z-GO both offered it. E-Z-GO encompassed the GPS unit and what we have currently on the course into their bid. Club Car did not, which put them about $30,000 higher per month. So basically what Bobby and I discussed and what we think going forward would be the municipal lease through E-Z-GO, which is $103,000 per year for the carts and for the GPS. And then we have a $244,000 buyout option at the end. Does anyone have any questions or comments or concerns? Yeah, go ahead, Frank.
Just want to make sure, I'm sure you looked at it this time, but the warranty matches the length of the lease this time?
It does on the battery, specifically the battery. There are other warranties that are standard amongst the industry for, the windshield and other things that are 3 or 4 years. We have that baked into the repair expense for the budget. But the batteries was the big one, and that matches the 5-year term.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, this is, is it less than $10,000 more than what we're paying now for the next 5 years? Is that correct, Joe?
Yeah, and actually what helped us a lot was we said, we know our fleet is valued at more than the buyout value. So you need to tell us what your buyout value is and then roll that into the lease. So that actually helped us keep the lease number down substantially.
Right. So I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the E-Z-GO contract bid. How do we?
I propose that we approve the bid we make a motion to approve the bid as presented by Commissioner Gordiano.
I second it.
Okay, so we need to add a little meat to that, Christine, to be easy go.
Municipal lease.
I got it. I'll do it. I'll write it the right way.
Okay,
it.
municipal easy go lease.
Yep, I got it.
Municipal easy go
Motion
lease.
to approve the municipal Easy Go lease presented by Commissioner Guardiano.
Yeah, do we have
Diane
it?
second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Diane
fur-
seconded.
Yeah,
Yeah, I seconded Don.
yep, Diane's. And do we have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so that's, motion is carried unanimously. Good job, everybody.
Thank you
Bobby,
all.
Joe, great job. It's,
Yeah, and just to keep you advised, those are all set to be delivered March 1st. And if they run into problems with their factory being shut down or whatever, they won't take our current fleet until the new fleet is en route to Toshawa to be replaced. So we'll always have carts on the course, you know, so we don't have a time where our barn is empty and we want to open up or something like that.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to add is the lithium batteries are supposed to have considerable savings in electricity.
Yeah.
So I don't know, when we looked last year, it might be a $20,000 savings or somewhere in there, $10,000 to $20,000. We'll find out, but it's a significant electrical savings.
And unfortunately, that's controlled by the town, so we can't even really guesstimate it in the budget, so to speak.
Right. We can't account for that in the budget, but it should show up in terms of a net gain going forward. Okay.
So the next thing is the budget for 2020 or fiscal year 2022. And really this comes down to what kind of course do we want to be? There's one proposal of $1 a round, $1 a cart, and $5 increase in IDs. Or there's one for a $1 round increase and $2 in carts. If we do the $1 round, $1 carts, basically capital investment would be reduced from $18,000 to zero. The 9 Glen Fairway repair project would be $6,000 down to $2,600, which would triple the timeline of the project. The 10-year bunker replacement plan, which Doug's put together to replace every bunker on the course, would be reduced down to from $15,000 to $8,500, doubling the project timeline to 20 years. And additional sand that Doug needs just to maintain the course throughout the year would basically be 3 truckloads down to 1 truckload. You know, so really this comes down to what we're investing in or what we cut from the budget would be customer facing projects, right? It'd be the consideration of the course, and it'd be, you know, the sand that Doug needs and things like that. So where do we want to go? I want to kind of have a discussion to get the feeling of the group and see where everyone's head is, if at all possible.
Joe,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, I'm going to jump in. Given the year we've had, I don't mean the golf course, I mean the year that we've all had with COVID and people losing their jobs. I don't think this is a really good time to raise the rates $3. I mean, I understand what you're trying to do in terms of projects. I just don't think it's feasible. And what good is raising the rates $3 if our the players diminish, you know, because we price ourselves off the market. There are a lot of people who are scratching right now to make ends meet. And a lot of our golfers, I don't know the statistics because this was a very strange year in terms of how many people were working from home and stuff. But I would be willing to bet that a lot of our golfers are seniors ordinarily during the week, and you're just going to price yourself right out of that.
Yeah, and I guess, my question there is, we're talking about a $74 round versus a $75 round on the weekends. And is somebody who's struggling financially going to pay $74 over paying $75?
Well, the people that golf are, they're not golfing just, they're golfing a couple times a week usually. Our good customers are golfing a couple times a week. And that's my concern. My concern is you're going to narrow that down to once a week. So what good is our profit if we don't have the golfers?
Well, also, if we can't maintain the golf course at the level we are currently, then we'll lose golfers there as well. Because a lot of the equipment is 30 to 40 years old, where it normally should be replaced at 15 years.
Well, we're doing the best we can to start replacing that stuff, Frank. I just don't think we should try to do it all in 1 year. That's just my personal opinion. And, I know a lot of the people that I know that golf, we could easily price ourselves out of this.
And Diane, I'll just offer this to you. Doug and I did look at the next fiscal year, 2023. And basically it comes out that we do not need another price increase. We take this $3 this year.
Oh, okay, but if we've lost golfers, what, do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I do see what you're trying to say. And I think,
people are going to find other places to go. They already do, as a matter of fact.
And I mean, the tee sheet is filled every day, right? It's filled 7 days out. So that's.
Well, this year is an odd year because I think we have a lot of younger people golfing during the week because they've been allowed to work from home with COVID. I know from my own family, that they normally are gone and now they're all home. So, yeah, I mean, this is just my personal opinion.
I'm sorry, and do we have someone else that wants to jump in here with their?
Yeah, I'd also add, I think we need to be cognizant of the fact that pre-COVID, there was a kind of a declining interest in golf, declining obviously from some of the numbers and some of the older budgets. Yeah, there was a decline. We don't want to accelerate that if and when, hopefully, not if, but when we go back to more normal times, do we want to accelerate that with higher prices? So I think we need to be cognizant of that. I think the 1-in-1 feels better to me, but I do have a question. Does the 1-in-2 not include an increase of $5 for the ID cards?
That is correct. Yeah. So there's no increase of IDs, and there basically would be no rate increase, at least for 1 year, but I project for the next 3 to 4 years because we have a lot of money falling off the expenses. So we would not need to increase further.
Right. So, and this effectively is for, well, the way I'm thinking about it is if we did a 1-in-1 now and then another one next year, you'd have essentially a $2.50 across the calendar year versus. So
I wouldn't confuse a calendar year with a fiscal year, right? It's purely just what do we want to do, and it really comes down to what direction do we said we want to bring a premium course. We talked about that 2 months ago.
Right.
And these are all customer facing projects, right? And if I understand your concern about people going back to work, but we're right there in line with all the local golf courses, right? So if people, the question I see and I ask my friends all the time of, would you rather play an okay course and pay $72, or would you rather play a premium course and pay $75? And everybody automatically says, I'd rather pay the extra $3 and get the better course, right?
But how often do your friends play? Do they play more than once a week?
No, I mean, we're all, no. But I mean, that's the question, right? Do you want to pay $3 more for a premium course that is investing in the course and investing in the projects that we think are customer facing, or not? And if not, that's fine, but then we shouldn't be buying new mowers and we shouldn't be buying everything else. We should be minimizing expenses and trying to maximize profits.
I don't think that the,
I have a question. I know it was,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
that I know it was before my time with the retained earnings, but what's that money for? I mean, wouldn't this be a good time to dip into? That's an awful lot of money to just be sitting there.
I agree with you, Angela. It was taken in 2017. I wasn't on the golf commission at that time. But the vote is retained earnings, a goal of maintaining $1 million in there. So we can override that vote. I don't have a problem with that, but the Board of Finance and the internal auditor of the town likes that $1 million mark, and
Angelo, can I pitch into that one? Because I certainly
Well,
was
there are
involved.
there are a lot of things on the golf course that if they fail will cost us $1 million. Much less the irrigation system or 4 to 5 greens. So we need to have that money available to continue going if one of these failures happen. If we get the wrong insect that comes along, and God forbid, I don't give Doug and Paul nightmares, but start eating the grass on the greens and we have to replace 5 to 6 greens, that is a lot of money and a lot of lost revenue due to the fact the course would be closed. As well, if the irrigation system totally goes, I believe there's some way to repair it a little at a time, but if there's a big failure, that's a big dollar amount and a lot of revenue lost. So that's what that's there for.
Folks, let me
So-
just,
I'm not talking about spending the whole thing, but
oh, go ahead, Angelo, go ahead, I'm sorry.
so Joe, if we dip, how much money would it take from out of the contingency to not have an increase?
not have an increase at all.
Yeah.
If best case scenario, 130,000.
Okay, so it wouldn't be like we're wiping it out. And I think that would be, a show of good faith to the public.
But I also think
they're-
we're going to be taking about $160,000 hit this audit period because of COVID, right? We were shut for 50 days and that was our losses roughly.
Well, let me,
So is there,
we're facing minimum $35,000 in minimum wage increases right off the bat. And we have the cost of goods and services. Personally, I think an increase is absolutely required. But we're not talking all or nothing here. Proposal A is a $98,000 increase in revenue. That's a 5%. That's 100,000. It's 98,000 versus 120,000. The difference on the two proposals is $20,000. It's not all or nothing.
Yeah, thank you, Don. That's a good point.
And the 2 versus the 3, yeah, you can argue $1. What's another $1? Yeah, but I've said this before, we have never raised rates that I can recall more than $1 1 year ever. 2 and the $5 is gonna get a lot of feedback, a lot of negative feedback. And especially when people know how much we've recouped this year with the play. The other thing I want to throw in is that in the budget, the seasonal salaries, I think, now Doug and Joe may argue with me on this, but we built in some extra money in seasonal salaries last year that we never used. And this budget not only builds in an increase, it builds in another additional monies in seasonal salaries. So I think there's some money, if we had to, we could examine taking out of there.
Yeah,
And-
I'm happy to address that. And Doug, if you want to jump in at any point, but Doug built a very good model of basically if we open mid-March and we play through, I believe it was mid-November, fully optimized and everybody hired, this is what it was going to cost us. And that number was 279,000. And that was with the minimum wage increase and overtime and everything.
Right.
That being said, if we go back into COVID in the spring and we have to pay our union members time and a half, there's money in the budget then to be borrowed from there to pay that, right? Which we only have $1,700 left in that account. So,
Right.
So we just have to be, I mean, that's kind of, yes, it looks like a big number, but that's also our contingency fund, so to speak.
So, yeah, we're trying to get a sense of what people want to do here, so.
Yeah, Don, I was just going to ask you to maybe have get somebody else to chime in.
Yeah,
Or get
I'm looking-
consensus or
Shelley,
something.
I'm looking, who haven't we heard? Shelley and Dick, where do you guys stand on this?
Well, I think that the increase is absolutely necessary. I do agree with Diane and you, Don, that if we go too big, we don't know what next year is going to bring. I think we don't want to turn off the voter, the golfers. I guess I would be in favor of the $1 across the board, and the $5, and that includes the $5 on the card. I don't think $5 on the card is astronomical. I mean, I would not complain about paying an extra $5 for a resident card.
You know what? Most people people like me won't even notice the extra $5.
Right,
Because I
and it's
don't,
a one-time.
I couldn't tell you right now what I pay.
Right, but it's a one-time thing.
Right.
Whereas every time, with the increase across the board, every time you go to play golf, you're going to notice that extra $1 or extra $2.
Right. Right, especially if you play more
It's
than
not a
once.
lot of money. It's not a lot of money, but people that are struggling or just the fact that there's an increase is going to turn off people.
Mhm.
Joe, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Tom.
Forgive me if it's in here and I just haven't seen it, but is there anywhere in here where it shows what the retained earnings would go to if we did the 1 and 1 and 5? And
No,
kept all the capital improvements versus the 1 and 2? And
We'd
keep-
basically be approving a budget of negative $30,000 from our retained earnings. So we'd lose 30,000.
And
We will know what the retained earnings is hopefully in December before we vote on the budget. What
Okay.
what this year ends at. So we'll know how much wiggle room we have around that 1 million should we choose to keep it. We should know that before we actually vote on the budget next time.
Bobby, can I ask Bobby a question? Do we know what any other courses are raising the rates this year yet?
Yes, I was told 2 nights ago that Smith is raising their rates by $2. That's all I know for sure. And that we're still one of the lowest around.
So what would Smith be on a weekend compared to us with the $2 increase?
I think $77, 76 for
Okay.
non-resident. And resident, there would be at our current level of 33
Okay.
and 18, so 51. So they're a little bit less than us on the resident rate, but they're more than us on the non-res.
And
They
so
had a different policy in effect early on. They had it where their non-resident rate was always twice the maximum amount, which is double the resident rate.
Smith's non-resident rate with a cart on the weekend is $73 this year. Ours was 72. We looked at,
We're 70 right now.
what's that?
We're $70 right now. So we'd be going to either 72 or 73. Right? With a cart. And Smith will be going to 75.
Okay, right, yeah.
So we're still below them
I
regardless.
mean, again, that's non-resident, you know,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of choices for non-residents. And we're gonna win that battle every time, hands down, because of the condition of our course. I've heard it all season long. I don't think we're gonna turn them away. There's so many people that want to play there right now that they can't get out.
And what's the Smith ID card? Bobby, what's a Smith ID card? Do you know?
$75,
Okay, and we're at 45?
$70.
$70.
Yeah, and we're at 45, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's a little caveats there. Like, for instance, their resident seniors pay $70, but then this year, their golf with cart was only $39, so they were below us. And they're non-residents, if they go up $2, they would be equal to our $2 proposal, but they don't have an ID for non-residents. Non-resident seniors don't pay an ID card. So our non-residents that pay Tashua versus Smith, it would be the difference of the ID. The rates would be the same during the week.
There's so many different categories: weekend, weekday, resident, non-resident, seniors, juniors, season passes. They have season passes that people can buy. We're in the ballpark on all of them, plus or minus a couple of dollars.
So I think it goes back to, do we want to fund these projects this year and not raise rates next year? Or do we want to not fund these projects and potentially raise rates next year, most likely because we have to fund these projects again?
Shelley, where do you stand?
Okay, I've listened to everybody. I have a question. Diane, you were mentioning the cart rate up to $5. You're talking card or cart rate when you made that comment?
Oh, the card. Right now, I don't know what
Okay.
I pay for my card. So if you're going to charge me $5 more next year,
You're
that
not
means
gonna think-
nothing to me.
Correct. Okay. All right. That was the confusion I had as to what you were talking about.
Yeah, the card.
When we're talking about COVID this year versus next year, this is just my personal opinion, but I talked about this in the springtime when we were thinking things were going to pick up, and I was like, no, they're not. Could we have a vaccine? Yes. Are people going to go back to work full time next summer? I'm cautious about that it's going to happen. So golf has been an outlet for a lot of people, and I think that's why the demand's been so high. If you want to, if you're talking about really a difference of $1 versus what we're going to do, I personally would say $1 more than what I was going to be paying. So if I had a $2 increase, I would be fine with that if I was given the reasons. I feel like the general public is always going to be upset because they're going to say, well, why we keep raising rates, especially as you said during COVID. If we start off with a rate increase, whatever it is, and we explain to everyone, we are unfortunately having, once again, like we have other years, raising our rates. First reason is because minimum wage has gone up by $1 for everyone that we have employed. So that's giving one reason. We have had to get new carts, which have still cost us higher than we were in the budgets. Number 3 is we have equipment that is in an irrigation system that's 30 or 40 years old. And we don't want to have it break down and not have the great course that we're all thrilled with right now from what I've heard. So if we give everyone reasons, whether we do it on our website, whether we do it when they're going in to sign for the resident card or whatever, then nobody is going to get the flack, commissioners or Bobby or anybody else, as much if they have reasons for the reason why we're doing it. So to me, if we're going up and we're talking about the difference of being able to fund projects, and they know that, and I'm gonna pay $1 more per round than I'm gonna be paying before, then I would be fine with the extra, but that's just my opinion.
So you're saying $3 is okay versus $2? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying to do what we want to do. I mean, everybody's gonna, if you don't do that and for some reason we have to replace that irrigation system, or we're not able to buy some of the equipment that has failed. And this is the year that we're, and we say to them in this, we are not projecting to have another increase, because if you just do it, then they're gonna say, oh yeah, what's it gonna be next year? So I'm trying to do it in public recognition and further support as to why we're doing something. You're asking my opinion, I'll go either way, but I feel like if we're not going to do it again in 2022, 23 season, then why do it again in another year where they're going to say, oh, you're going up again? If you're going to pull off the Band-Aid, do it in one shot, have the monies for the things that you need to do, and then not have to have this discussion next year.
And also, just to be clear, I'm looking at this. So if we go with the $3, we're charging everybody $3 everybody $3 more. If we go with the 1-in-1 and the $5 on ID cards, we charge everybody $2 more and all our residents $5 more.
That's a good point.
So we're actually charging $7 more with the 1-in-1 and 5 to our core customers, our residents, and just $3 across the board in the other one. Is that a fair assessment?
Yep.
Or you hit your non-residents, the people that love the course and are willing to pay something, if you want to do it that way. I mean, we have options, right?
Well, it's not $5. It's if
Right,
you
right.
It's
if
a
you
one-time
play
cost.
if you play 30 rounds, it's what's that?
60 cents.
16 2/3 cents a round.
Right, the $5 cost, the $5 charge is a one-time charge.
But
So
it
we're
is-
not gonna,
Frank
we're
raised
not
the
gonna,
point that it is.
Okay, so here's what, look, we've kicked this around. We need to make the decision so we can properly prepare the budget. I would like to call a vote on this. I need to have, before we vote, I guess in order to frame the resolution, how many people are leaning towards proposal A, which is the $1 a round, $1 a cart, and the $5 increase in the ID fee? That's proposal A. Proposal B is $1 a round and $2 for the cart. How many people are leaning towards proposal B? I got Frank. I have Frank. I have Shelley. I have Joe. How many people are leaning towards proposal A? I have Diane. I have Dick. I have Tom. Who am I missing? Angelo abstaining,
Yes.
and I'm leaning towards, and I'm for proposal A. Okay, so we will frame a resolution to raise rates. Well, I need somebody to offer the motion to raise the rates $1, carts $1, and a $5 increase in the ID fee.
Before we do that, can I ask one question?
Yes, sure.
All right. What about increasing the non-residents by more? Is that how many, do we have an idea of how many non-residents are playing versus residents and what that would factor in?
Yeah,
Bobby, I believe non-resident versus resident play. It was roughly 60%, right?
yeah.
Can I add that this year, everything has been skewed, and I think Diane said it. Absolutely, this year, we do have many more junior golf play. We
Yes.
have seen a decrease in senior play, but for the first time, we also have a very dramatic decrease in non-resident play. And I would think the figures are skewed the exact opposite way this year, that we have 60% resident and 40% non-resident. So keep in mind that the non-residents certainly pay and keep the rate lower for the residents. But this year, and again, it could, I'm sure it's just a COVID year, but the figures are skewed the other way dramatically this year.
Shelley, we have 30 categories of rates. Okay, and yes, we could, there's all sorts of machinations that could be looked at. And in the previous years, we've raised them on residents and not not non-residents, and vice versa. Anything is possible, but for the sake of expediency, at this time, we have two proposals to look at.
Okay, how about I'm all into compromises. How about a $2.50? If that make a much of a difference, just for knowing the funding that we need for the golf course alone. I don't know everything else, but that's just the Greens Committee that I'm aware of.
Yeah, so you think we do 80,000 rounds and 40,000 in carts. So every dollar in carts is a $40,000 increase to the bottom line. Every dollar in rounds is an $80,000 increase. So that was why we did $2 in carts to get to that next level.
We do 40,000 in carts, 40,000 in carts, and we do
55.
between the Glen and the
Oh,
Knoll,
sorry, 55, yeah.
55,000 rounds, thereabouts.
Was I getting 80 out of
Yeah.
that?
Okay.
So I'm going to go back to our two proposals. Can I get a motion on proposal A? Diane,
Don, I will make that motion if Christine will word it for me.
You got it, Diane.
Thank you.
okay, just so everybody knows, it's $1 a round, $1 per cart, and $5 for the golf ID fee. Any further discussion? All in
Hold
favor?
on, hold on.
Wait.
Do we need to vote on rates? I mean, quite honestly, last year we didn't vote until January in rates. So
Yes, we do need to vote on rates because we have disagreement over the budget.
well, but we have a direction that
We cannot do the budget and then do the rates later.
but we did
Joe,
the
Joe,
budget last year in
what would-
December and the rates.
Joe, what would your point be about not voting on the rates tonight? We
Well, I
can't,
think
we
Diane,
can't back into the budget.
right, so last year we did the budget in December and the rates in January.
Right,
Right.
that's why, and it wasn't fun.
And so, yeah, exactly. So we can finalize I can go back tonight and I can finalize the budget and we can vote on it next period or next meeting in December. And then we can finalize the rates in January, once.
I'm not comfortable
No.
with that after last year. I'm really not. I'm sorry.
Why?
No, we
It doesn't-
can't.
Don, can I say something?
Yeah,
When you build, when you in your own home, you don't wait till you create a budget and then figure out how you're going to make your money work in that budget. You look at how much money you have and then you create your budget. I'm just not comfortable doing it backwards. I'm sorry.
I have a question on how much money is the $5 we're charging extra to the residents going to get us?
$8,500.
$8,500.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to vote on the rates because we have to know how much money we have in order to set our budget.
I think you need a second on the proposal, Don.
Correct. I need a second.
Second,
Who's that?
right,
All in
Tom.
favor of the 1 and the $5 increase in the fee, in the ID fee? All in favor?
Aye.
I have Ken, I have Dick, I have Tom. Okay, I'm in favor. That's 4. All opposed?
Opposed to charging the residents $5 more?
I have Shelley, I have Frank, I have Joe. Angelo, what say you?
Abstain.
Angelo abstains.
Oh,
Motion is carried 4 to 3 to 1.
Do we need 2/3 majority for that?
No. No, we do not. Next item. Where are we? Correspondence. Christine, you had correspondence, Assistant Town Engineer?
we are, but that's Doug's.
Yeah, I can take that. I reached out to the town engineer about our project on the 13th Tee. Explained the whole project, sent them over some drawings, elevation changes. They came back and said no permit is required for this project and to proceed as planned.
Okay. Anybody have any questions of Doug about that? Fine. Old business, cart bid we took care of. Advanced tea time reservation policy, Tom.
Yeah, so attached in this package that Chris sent out, I think it's at the very, very end of the part 2, November meeting, right? That's where it is. We summarized the, I'm just opening it up now. We summarized the 5 vendors that we looked at and came to the conclusion, both on a front-end basis and on a back-end basis, that the administrator will be using, Bobby, that we want to go with 4UP. It's about $500 a month. Bobby has the exact proposals, but we want to go with 4UP and get that installed as soon as possible. There's going to be some slight additional costs, I think, with some hardware. Mostly some of the credit card. I think it's going to be the credit card swipes that we're going to have to upgrade, potentially a computer. But this system can operate on any operating system, and it can operate on any device. So we probably could make do with what we had if we had to. I think Chris emailed me earlier today and said that I think that she thought some of our credit card swipe machines might need to be upgraded, but there's not going to be very much additional costs on that end. So we would like to, if everybody's had a chance to look that over, we'd like to make a recommendation to go with 4UP and maybe take a vote at this meeting on moving forward with that. Bobby, if you have anything to add on the back end, any commentary, but on the front end, they're all pretty easy and intuitive. I think Shelley and I thought the 4UP one was the best, but on the back end, Bobby thought the 4UP one was, was definitely better than the rest of them. So.
Yeah, I think the 4UP just offers us in terms of support, ease of use, user friendliness from the customer standpoint. I think it's going to help us turn the corner and move into the future. Depending upon what you guys decide to do with the advanced tea time policies, we have a lot of flexibility that this system will be able to provide for us. So I think it's a really good fit. And then also just knowing that they use that very busy golf course like Bethpage, Torrey Pines, Yale has had it for over a year now, and the town of Stratford just purchased it as well. So there's some local friends that have this and they love it. I think it's a great fit, and I think it's time to move away from golf now. And it's just the time is now as we move forward.
Right, and there's a there's a bit of a, we'll say there's some time considerations here. We would want to get this done certainly as soon as we possibly can so that Bobby has the opportunity to, A, get used to it on his end. We can introduce it to the public even hopefully a month or so before golf season even starts. So they could get used to what the interface looks like. And, it's going to take probably, a couple weeks for them to have that, up and running. So, getting that going as soon as possible, I think is a good idea before, we get too into the doldrums of winter. I think we want to have this, have this going. So.
All right, Shelley, this is a unanimous committee decision.
Absolutely. We were all impressed with 4UP as compared to the other ones who had some really good features and then some that we weren't so happy with. And I think everybody will be pleased. The notification system alone to all the golfers will also validate whatever increase we're doing, things like that. We just want to make them happy. We want to make Bobby's life a little bit easier. And I think that's a system to go with.
Okay, Tom, why don't you make a motion of some type?
Can I ask a question?
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, so we have $500 a month for this system, but do we know do we need more hardware or additional software? I mean, right now we have a line item for security and web apps and everything else, and point of sales hardware. Do we know what exactly we're replacing versus getting?
Chris,
Well,
could you have, go ahead, Bobby, go ahead.
I mean, we the two computers we have now, Touch Dynamic, I think were installed, I think in 2010, Chris, maybe?
Maybe a couple of years, but they're pretty old already. And
Like I mentioned, like I talked to Jordan, and these can be used on any computer. I mean, Bill can help us with that. We can get the Dell I have in my office is like $700 for a point of sale system. I think the credit card systems, we need to get a better credit card system through WorldPay, like that accepts Apple Pay and more of the advanced stuff that the younger people want to tap their phones with and stuff, and better scanners. So I think we have the money already in the budget, Joe.
Okay.
It's not going to exceed what we already have budgeted in our current budget.
Yeah, no, exactly. But it's not going to be a reduction from, I think we budgeted 14,000. It's not going to be a reduction to 6,000 like we're discussing. We're going to have to upgrade a few hardwares and security systems as well.
Well, that would probably be in this year's budget. I mean, we have to do this in the current fiscal year. So it's not.
Okay.
Unless we, buy it on time or something. So,
Are we saving any money on what we're not going to be using, like Golf Now or whatever it is? Are we paying a monthly fee or a fee to them?
We pay an annual fee of a little bit over $1,000, I think, what, $1,300, Chris?
Yes.
So that's going to be going away and just be, so it's be transferred. So it's like kind of a wash. And we pay Sisto, I think, around $1,000 or $2,000 too. So that's about $3,200 that we're already paying that will be kind of absorbed. So that's roughly almost 6 months of the so half the year.
Right. So we would get out less than.
Yeah.
The bad,
less than 500.
the bad news is for this year, we already paid Golf Now and Sisto. They were on a yearly fee, so that money's already been spent. So the $500 per month for the remainder of the year is going to come out of that hardware budget for this year.
Okay, so we'll just need to look to upgrade probably after the end of this year, fiscal year.
Well, I think we can, if it's if it's credit card systems, which I think are, like Bobby said, necessary, and scanners, but I think we'll be able to do it. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to do it.
All right, great.
Due to the multiple thousands of dollars a year that's spent on this, do we have to go to bid, or do we have to do that, or because it's software we don't have to, or?
Well, we
vendor of the town.
We have what somebody there is to do, Tom or whatever. I'll be happy to help anybody out, but we will write down everybody that we looked at. They have the cost. So in effect, we did look at all of them. And we'll put the pros and cons of each. We do have to put a report together as to why we want to do this. And then, because basically we're going to ask for a bid waiver on it. Actually, it's less than 10, so we don't even have to. Yeah, we don't even have to. So we just have to put a memo together.
We do it to make them a town vendor, is that?
Oh, that's not a problem. The other thing that Bobby found out too is that they use 3 credit card vendors, and one of them that they use is WorldPay, who we currently use right now. And we just last month underwent a whole rate renegotiation with them and got lower rates approved. So that should be able to carry over, but
Right.
they're going to use our present credit card vendor. So that's good news too.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, can we get a motion to move to the 4-up
Reservations.
system?
I'll make that motion if Chris can help write it.
You got it. Who's seconding?
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No, any abstentions? Okay, motion carried. Good job. Now the hard part comes, putting it in, right? Okay, the next item on the agenda is the ATK contract. It disappoints me to tell you that it has not been finalized yet. I have had several back and forths with the town attorney and the first selectman. I have been assured we will get it done. But it is not done yet. Okay.
And
we will-
it's not from lack of trying.
Thank you. Yeah, but I did get assurance over the weekend that we will get it done. So we'll see what that means when the time comes, but any questions on that? You should have a million, but
Yeah.
I don't have the answer, so. The meeting schedule for next year, is this something we vote on, Christine?
Yeah,
Yes.
and just to remind everyone that it's in our bylaws that our meeting is the 4th Monday of each month unless a holiday, for example, May. I do have one question for you. You can decide the December meeting. The 4th Monday is December 27th. Christmas is on a Saturday next year, so you have Saturday, Sunday, and then we'd be meeting Monday, or do you want to make it the week earlier on the 21st? It's up to you guys.
Week earlier.
Yeah.
21st?
I agree.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Or
Yeah.
That'd be the
And-
20th, Chris.
What's,
20th?
that would be the 20th, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 20th.
Wait, I'm looking at 2020.
you're
It
still.
would have been the
20.
21st or the 28th.
Yeah, no, those are Tuesdays.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you know what? This calendar starts on a Monday. Yeah. Yep, you're right. But we do
You got
need to vote.
another-
You need to accept it.
Yeah, okay, the other days are all Mondays, right? Yeah, just that
Yeah.
one.
Yep.
All right. So we need a motion, and these will be Zoom actually until further notice, I would expect, right?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Poor Diane.
Zoom is great,
Robot Diane.
yeah.
I'll make the motion.
Who's that?
Chris will write it up. Yeah.
Shelley made a motion, Frank seconded it, I saw his hand go up there, I saw it. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay. Golf Commission meeting schedules changed as presented, except it's December 20th. Right, okay. All right. Any other new business? All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Diane? Angelo seconds.
Second.
Do we vote on that? Do we vote on adjournment?
Just gotta all say yes.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone.
Happy
Take care.
Thanksgiving,
Happy
everyone.
Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Be safe. Thank you.